All right. Good evening, Plateau. Good evening, Nigeria. You are welcome to this beautiful Friday evening edition of our program, your program Mind Way for Life and Living. My name is Dr. Kingsley Mayowa. I'm a consultant psychiatrist and a certified management consultant. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Network Consult Limited and Executive Director of Network Repetition Initiative. You're already acquainted with our program that Mind Way for Life and Living. It's an initiative of the network group to help you to acquire the mindset, attitude, and aptitude that you need to make a success in any and every area of your life, be it business, be it career, be it politics, and even governance. We also help you to achieve and maintain a sound mind so that you can live the life of abundance that you deserve. On today's program, we are going to be talking about something that is very important and germane in commemoration of the Father's Day that comes up on Sunday, 16th of June 2024. Yes. And our topic today says fathers, men of means. Fathers, men of means. Fathers, men of means. All right. The question is, what do you mean by means? The English dictionary told us that means is an action or system by which a result is achieved. So when you say a method, an action or system by which a result is achieved, so you talk about the means by which something is done. For example, technology seems to be a means to bring about emancipation. So a means. However, people can also look at it and say um, means will mean financial resources, income. So when you now say fathers are men of means, it means that fathers could be people who achieve things, who help to achieve things, and by whatever method they use, or they could be people with financial resources. So fathers, men of means. And now, to be able to situate our discussion for today in better light, we are going to look at of course, I know this in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1 to 4, looking at um, the Bible, the scripture, which seems to be a very good means. I used to say that is a manual for living. It says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise. That may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on earth. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. All right, so here it says, children should honor the fathers. And then, of course, that is the commandment we promise, and the fathers also should not provoke their children. So you can see a two-edged thing there, a balance, to say that it's not only for fathers to say that children should honor them, but it's also important to say that fathers should not provoke their children onto anger. Now, the question is what the means? What the means by which fathers can make sure that they don't provoke their children onto anger. That's one of the things that we're going to be talking about today. So, either you are looking at that first meaning that talks about action or system by which result is achieved, or you are looking at the financial resources, the income thing. um, we need men of means. So we need fathers to be men of means. And before we go into the means, let us see what fathers are supposed to do. Now, the number one thing is fathers are supposed to be responsible. So there is the concept of responsibility. A father is not supposed to provoke his child or his children to wrath. And this will mean that father should not purposefully make sure that the children become scornful and angry, resentful and discouraged and bitter. There are ways in which many fathers take care of their children, or they say that they nurture their children or train their children, and these children end up being very resentful, very angry, very bitter, and they perpetuate the cycle of bitterness, cycle of toxicity. So in many homes, children have been provoked to run because of the father's high-handedness, and in some other homes because of the father's absence. There are many fathers that are absent in their different homes. Absent not because they totally leave the home, but because they always talk about looking for means of livelihood and then they are not there for their children. So, and then of course, there are fathers who are actually really absent. In this present times, in which we have economic issues all over the world, and people are, like we say in Nigeria, the Japa syndrome. With that Japa syndrome, there are people who are living far away from their children and they don't have that means to be able to take care of them. So, in many seemingly normal homes as well, children are provoked to anger by their fathers. You see that sometimes when the fathers come home, the children are scampering for safety and so on and so forth. And sometimes the fathers become overbearing, abusive, both physically and emotionally. And then in some homes, the fathers are hypocritical, demanding things from the family that he himself does not demand from himself. All of these things can provoke children to anger and bring growth. This must be avoided. And one thing we should know, the second primary aspect of father's responsibility is to bring up children and train them to be responsible members of society. And of course, to be people who are God fearing, people who are law abiding, and people who are responsible. That is what fathers are supposed to be to their children, to train them up in such a way. The number two thing that we expect of fathers is accountability. The number one that I said is responsibility. The number two is accountability. Fathers will bear the accountability, and this is the consequence of failing to carry out their fatherly roles. They will be accountable. They will be accountable right here on earth. They will be accountable even before the Lord. So fathers must not relinquish the responsibilities, the accountability onto mothers. You know, there are people who will say that while I go and look for means of livelihood, that the mother should take care of the home. They have relinquished their God-given God-given role. They have relinquished to the mothers, and some actually have relinquished it to the older siblings. But the truth of the matter is that we are going to be accountable for the well-being of our children and to make sure that children are people who turn out well in society. So accountability. Then the next thing that men as fathers need to do is the concept of possibility. Possibility. Fathers are supposed to bring up children in godly ways, in ways that perpetuate or propagate responsible members of society. And it is possible to do this in a morally bankrupt world that we are. Um, we see that it is still possible as fathers to bring up children in the way of the Lord. It is still possible as fathers to bring up children in such a way that they will be responsible members of society. And what does that mean? It speaks of creating a strong bond between a father and his children all the days of their lives, and in a way that they can always be a support system to one another. And now, you know, in our days, when the elderly are left to die of loneliness and despair, when fathers take care of their children well and bring them up in the way of the Lord with possibilities and all that, these children will form a strong bond with the fathers, and such that even in their old age, they will be there for them. It speaks of the possibility of being happy. It speaks of possibility of having well-adjusted children. It speaks of possibility of having children that fear God and that are responsible to their families. It speaks of possibility of spiritual men leading spiritual homes in a spiritual way that brings up spiritual children. So we're still talking about children, fathers being men of means. And we said that the first thing is that fathers will be people who are responsible. Second is that fathers must be people who are accountable. And third is that fathers are people who have the possibility mentality to be able to bring up children in the way of the Lord, to be able to bring up children who are responsible members of society, to be able to have children who have good bond with their fathers, such that even in their old age um, they are able to have relationship with them, and then they don't leave them in despondency. But most of all, it speaks of possibility of heaven for fathers and their children. This is ultimately what it's all about, to be able to live in this world and then to gain heaven. So why are men not doing these things above as we ought to? So many men are not there. Many men are not as responsible as you will want them to be. Many men are not accountable. Many men are not performing their roles with possibility mindset. Why? It is because men, fathers lack the means. And that is why today we are talking about fathers as men of means. Father as men of means. All right. So father as men of means. Father as men of means. All right. So the first thing about men of means or the meaning of means is people with system to be able to take care of their children, system to be able to bring up children in the way of the Lord as responsible members of families and so on and so forth. So let's talk about that system, that method. Yes. Do men have the system, the method to be able to achieve all this? Well, I will leave you to answer. But for me, I think it's quite debatable. It's debatable to know if actually men have this means. Some will actually say that men don't have the means. Um, and why? Let's go back to the problem. The problem. The problem why it seems as if men don't have the means. All right, so I can see Mr. Sam Semako online. It says, well done, sir. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sam Semako. I'm sure that you are a good father to your children, but we could also pick one or two things here. Von Tao is also online there. All right, that's very good. It's a very interesting topic. Thank you for your validation. All right, so we talk about the system. It is debatable if men have the necessary means. It is debatable. And this is the reason. Let's go back to the problem. One, even as children, as boys, men have been taught to suppress their emotions. People will see the boy child and they will say, don't be a sissy, boys don't cry. So at the time when boys are supposed to be in tune with their emotions, they discover that they are not. They suppress their emotions and they are told that they need to man up. And what does it mean to man up? Is to suppress their emotions, to hold things inside, and building up this kind of things inside can also become a means of holding on bitterness. The question is, when people are told, stop crying, are you a girl? Are you a sissy? Boys don't cry. The question I ask is, how many men have had this kind of thing growing up? It seems as if it is the normal way of doing things. So, how many men still hear these words? Not spoken directly that way, but spoken in different ways. Sometimes a man will be told, you need to be strong for all the members of the family. You don't need to let people see that you are breaking down and so on and so forth. Number two is that there are stereotypes. We grew up with stereotypes. And what are these stereotypes? People will say men are rational, women are emotional. So, as a man, you are not expected to be emotional. You are not expected to be in tune with your emotion. And people now become hard guys who don't know how to show empathy, who don't know how to be in tune with their emotions. And rather than people will say, men don't cry, be a man, man up, you know. And of course, the stereotype is that men are also very physically strong, stoic. The men are expected to be domineering. In fact, the interesting thing about society is the hypocrisy of society. At one hand, we talk about gentlemen, men are supposed to be gentlemen. At another time, we want men to be domineering. So when you see a man who dominates everybody, including the female folks, or a boy child, or a young man who chases women and everything, some people will say, oh, that's a man. He's expressing his masculinity. But we expect the women to be gentle, to be chaste, and all that. The hypocrisy seems to be the order of the day for society. And so society seems to be sending double signal to the boy child. At one hand, you're supposed to be strong, at another hand, you're supposed to be a gentleman. It may sometimes be very confusing, and it brings what we call schism for the boy child. And what are the common causes of, common reasons or reasons, yes, why men seem to suppress their emotion? Number one, the conditioning, like I've been saying, the conditioning. Men are conditioned to suppress their emotions from early childhood. The socialization process. You see that daddies don't cry, men don't cry, they don't express their emotions. So the boy child also fashions himself after this, and we learn through social conduct and construct of modeling and observation, and then societal expectation that consider crying as a weakness, that considers being in touch with your emotions as a weakness. And this has varying degree of sending different messages to the boy child. And then, of course, sometimes difficult circumstances that boys and the men are expected to go through. Um, it may sometimes be overwhelming and sometimes be beyond the control of the boy child. At such time, or of the men, at such time, men have to hide their emotions in order to give strength and support to loved ones around them. So, for example, if there is bereavement, if there is loss, and so on and so forth, the men are supposed to man up, they are supposed to man up, they are supposed to give strength to other people around them. And then, of course, there's also low emotional intelligence. Low emotional intelligence from the time that the boy child started growing up, and to the point that he becomes a man. There is low emotional intelligence, and people who tend to suppress their emotions um, because they are not aware of them, they are not in tune with their emotions, they don't have self-awareness, they don't have self-regulation. Because they are not aware, they cannot regulate. And because of that, they get frustrated. And many a time they show catastrophic reaction to things, and they display manipulative behavior, and then they become aggressive and violent. And they have learned to use violence, anger, aggression as means of domineering others and getting the things that they think that they want. And so these are some of the things that has helped, that made it difficult for the men, for the boy child, or for men to be um, um, in tune with their emotions, to be in tune with their emotions. And of course, we talk about the means. So that is what the first means that we are talking about in terms of ability to develop, ability to bring up members of the family and children, in such a way that they will be responsible members of society and all that. What about the second mean? What about the second means? That the one that we talk about financial means, the means of making wealth, income, and so on and so forth. Now, the interesting thing about it is that men, by virtue of the same reasons that we talk about childhood conditioning, about childhood conditioning, about modeling, about life experiences and life events, men have been made to see that they need to work hard for money. And when I say work hard for money, I don't really mean hard work in terms of being resourceful and all that. I mean that people have already have mindset, limiting belief systems about money and wealth. A lot of people have what we call scarcity mentality. That's why you see that sometimes when children ask their fathers for money, the fathers will say, do you think I have money tree growing in my backyard that I'll just get you these things? You know? So these kind of things are some of the mentality that men have concerning money. And some actually have a lot of um, belief system to say that um, you need to do the hard things. There was a time I was discussing with somebody about working smart, about looking at investment opportunities and all that. And what he was saying is that all these things, you need to be hardworking and work hard for your money and all that. Yes, hard work is good, but working smart and working with precision, with knowledge, with understanding will also be better. So men grew up with a lot of negative beliefs about money. In fact, one of the things that happens is that sometimes you see people's mindset concerning money. When you see that when they see somebody that is thriving, the first thing that comes to their mind is that they probably cheated, probably embezzled money, or even do money rituals. And sometimes I tell myself, people who believe in money rituals are people that you should run away from because they are dangerous people. It means that if the push come to shove and they have no other means, they may actually become ritualists themselves. For people to believe that cutting human parts, doing all those kind of things can lead to money is a form of cognitive distortion. But unfortunately, many people have these belief systems. Many men also have this belief system. And some believe that you really cannot make it in this present world without cheating, without robbing, without embezzling money, and so on and so forth. And so, because of that, the person that wants to be upright will excuse the complacency with such excuse as I cannot steal, I cannot cheat. And so they leave opportunities lying around. They don't chase opportunities. They don't go in search of opportunities. And some are so bereft of ideas, some are so fearful and afraid. Another thing, limiting beliefs concerning money and wealth that many men have is that you need to money is so scarce that somebody's need to lose before you can gain. That kind of mindset to say that somebody needs to lose before you can gain. So there is the spirit of competition. That's why you see people talk about um, vying for the same position in the office. Some people go as far as even wanting to hurt or kill people because they have that limiting beliefs about money to believe that no, um, money is so scarce that everybody cannot be rich at the same time, and so on and so forth. Those kind of limiting beliefs are some of the ways in which men grew up. Now, how do you overcome such limiting beliefs? How do you overcome such limiting beliefs? For us to be men, for fathers to be men of means. Number one is to Change your orientation. Change your orientation. There is abundance in the universe. There is abundance in the universe. The truth of the matter is that everybody can thrive. There's a saying that says that the sky is limitless, it's enough for every bird to fly without touching one another. And so, if you believe that there is abundance in the universe and start acting according to that abundance, then you will see that abundance will be created for you. You see, the truth of the matter is this: as a man thinks in his heart, so he is. As men of means, we should start thinking of ideas. As a matter of fact, I was asking somebody recently why he has not been able to, he was in the one line of business and he stopped and has not been able to do anything ever since. And the answer again was that because of the economy. And I say, in this same present economy, there are people who are thriving, people who are making more money because they look beyond the economy and look into ideas. I need to challenge you as fathers. I need to challenge you as men. I need to challenge you to say that in the places where we have problems, values are created by solutions to problems. And in a country like ours, the environment in which we are, I can tell you that there are ample problems to be solved. And if you solve problems for others, you will be able to get paid for such problems and for such solutions that you are rendering. So, as men of means, you should be people who are progressively minded, that wants to solve problems, and then, of course, need to have a system built around the solutions to our problems to be able to generate money. So, fathers are men of means who should be able to generate money. Another way in which you can actually become men of means in terms of financial is to set money vision and money goals. I had the opportunity of speaking to a set of graduates and undergraduates very recently, and as a matter of fact, 2 days ago, and I was telling them that as you are starting your career, as you are getting that job, start early. Don't start thinking, don't think that you have too much time, that is only when you want to retire that you start having your financial plan. Start now. So you must have money visions, money goals. What do you want to achieve with money? What do you want to achieve out of life? And one of the things I tell people is to budget your money in percentages. The Almighty God has given us the principle by saying that we give 10%. Of course, that's something that a lot of people are contesting these days. And I tell them that if you don't want to give 10%, give generously unto the Lord. 10% should be the minimum. You can make it 20% if you like. You can make it 30% if you like. After all, the government is taking more than 10% in taxes from us, for those of us who pay tax. And if you don't pay your tax, please go and be responsible members of the society and pay your tax. Fathers are responsible members of the society. Now, another means of overcoming these limiting beliefs about wealth and money is your vocabulary. As a man thinks in his heart, so he is. And he shall have whoever believes in his heart and say it. He shall have whatever he said. So it's what you profess to yourself that you get. It is not just saying that you are thinking and you believe in your mind. You must say it out. The universe responds to the person who speaks. So your vocabulary, your money language must change. Your language must change. You must create money sayings that are supportive and promote your success. For example, since I'm a person of faith, I will use Mark chapter 11, verse 23 that says, "Verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe those things which he said shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith." He didn't say he shall have whatsoever he believes he will have. It is what he says. And believe me, these are universal principles that the universe responds to. You see, don't talk about you don't have money. Don't talk with people that country is hard. Don't get involved with corners, people who are pessimists. People are always looking at the bad side of things. No, get involved with people who believe that the sky is the limit, people who believe that solutions are there, even in this country. Another means of overcoming the limiting beliefs and becoming men of means is mentoring. You can get a role model, you can get a mentor, and I dare say sometimes you can get a coach, you can get a therapist. For example, for us at Network Consult, because we are health and wealth company, we, we believe that we can help you to maximize and optimize every area of your health so that you can live wealthily. So we will optimize you to live health for healthy living so that you can have wealthy living. And one of the dimensions of health is your financial health, which actually is a reflection of your wealth. And the truth of the matter is that when people talk in terms of wealth, they usually talk in terms of finance and the things that money can buy. But wealth goes beyond just the things that money can buy. So, what am I saying in essence? You can get role models, you can get coaches, you can get mentors, and you can get financial therapists. For us, we operate as financial therapists because we have our main root and base in therapy, in mental health, in psychotherapy. And so we can help you also to diffuse and destroy your limiting beliefs about money and create empowering beliefs and practices. We can help you to have a financial plan that is workable, and we can help you to achieve and maintain your motivation. Build a system around you that is going to insulate you from skepticism and that's going to help you beyond just being motivated, that is going to help you to have a system that will work seamlessly. And we also have partners that are financial experts, that are business experts that we work with, that you can have an holistic um, plan and a holistic plan and approach to building your means, to building your wealth. And of course, we can help you build money habits, institute money habits consistently, budgeting, saving, investing, and in such a way that you are going to become financially free, financially independent, and of course, help you to overcome all your limiting beliefs about money. So, as we have said, fathers must be men of means. Fathers must be men of means. Father must be men of means, of system to be able to build their children, support their spouses, and build their spouses, raise children who are men of timber and caliber in society, people who can contribute to society, people who can actualize their potential, cope with normal stresses of life, work productively, and contribute to their society. Children who are resilient, mentally strong. Children who are also able to empathize and provide solution by showing compassion to other children. And men will do all these things by one, being responsible, being accountable, and being people that believe in possibilities. And we also said that men have to be men of means, fathers have to be men of means. And when we say men of means, we also mean that fathers have to people who are people who can provide for members of their family and also contribute to society and even give to others, either in charity, build businesses that they can use to help others, and so on and so forth. And they can do this by overcoming their limiting beliefs about money, overcoming their limiting beliefs about wealth. They can do this by having new empowering beliefs, setting money goals, setting money vision, having money visions, getting mentors, going for financial therapy, having financial plans that are developed, and so on and so forth. And of course, another thing that men can do is to use their mind, use the psychology of wealth and psychology of the mind, anchoring, create an association which creates an association between two separate elements where none exists before. So men can actually create and anchor the thought of wealth to something positive, so that this can help them to build wealth. This can help them to build wealth. So fathers must be people of means. Fathers must be men of means. Fathers must be people of means. Fathers must be men of means. All right. So um, now one of the things that we also know about men or fathers is that they provide succor for everybody, and sometimes they themselves are cutting inside, and there seems to be no support system for them. There seems to be no support system for them. That is some of the ironies of life that men have to face, with which there is no support system for them. However, we are saying now that no man is an island. No man is an island. Men must know that no man is an island. What does that mean actually? It means that you must have support system in which you have others who are able to support you in the time of your need. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the me. That was what John Donne said as far as 1624. So now, men must know that it's good to have your spouses and believe that your spouses, because after all, the Almighty says that it's not good for the man to be alone, I'll make an help meet for him. And so it is not out of place for men to believe that their spouses are the help, singular help that they need. But that would be erroneous in itself, because um, it will be a recipe for failure to think that your spouse will be there for you all of the time, because that spouse may not even have the capacity. Remember that men are supposed to be protectors, men are supposed to be providers, and so on and so forth. And so um, men may need support system beyond their spouses. So what do we mean by a support system? Support system is simply an informal network of people that you can rely on both emotionally and practically. An informal set of people. So usually people rely on their children, of their family members as support system, of their friends, sometimes as co-workers, neighbors, and so on and so forth. So this could be just informal like that. Sometimes it's also be members of the same church, members of the club. Sometimes when people talk about the Kohe club, that kind of thing, it's a form of support system. People of like minds, people of like interest coming together to provide support for themselves. It could also be members of voluntary organizations, religious groups, teammates, or online bodies. This can be a support system for men, because men as fathers, as men of means, they also need support system. What are the benefits of a support system? A survey that was done a few years ago by Brigham Young University amongst more than 300,000 people that is surveyed, suggested that people who report having adequate support system tend to live longer. People who have adequate support system tend to live longer. This holds for men and women alike, regardless of age, regardless of your health condition, regardless of your tribe, regardless of your race. People who have support system tend to live longer. They tend to have higher self-esteem, and believe me, when I tell you that you need a high dose of self-esteem to be able to achieve and make anything in this present world. I tell people, either in my therapy or in my trainings, I tell people the system seems to be skewed against you. The world seems to be against you, but you cannot afford to be against yourself in your thinking. And then you should have people of like minds, people that have your interests at heart, that you surround yourself with, that will be men, that will be your support system. And so, when this happens, you need a high dose of self esteem. It boosts your self esteem. It makes you know that you can get to do anything. I was telling a group of people some days ago that completing tasks help you to believe that you can complete any other task. But when you leave tasks uncompleted, you also continue to give you self-doubt that you cannot complete other tasks, cannot get things done. So you need a high dose of SFT. And you are able to better cope with stress when you have support system. You feel more control of your life. You have a shoulder to cry on, a shoulder to support you. You feel more relaxed. You feel more loved, and so on and so forth. How then do you build this support system? Remember, as fathers, you need to be men of means. And to be men of means, you might need and you will need, you definitely will need a support system. How then do you build this support system? Number one, I've said before, it could be voluntary organizations, religious groups, and so on and so forth. It could be youth fellowship, youth groups. Some people some people form clubs, charitable organizations that they have their ethical principles that guide them. Somebody just came in the office and say, this one, Muslim Christian Youth Association. I said, yes, they gave me an award. So Muslim Christians youth, they came together, formed an association. They have their own principles, their own mantras, and so on and so forth. Things like that, they provide support system for themselves. Provide support system for themselves in such a way that they have shoulders to lean on. Men's fellowship can also be a support system. Clubs can also be a support system. Groups, sometimes investment clubs. That's one of the things I've been talking about for years. That men can come together in the concept of ownership, and rather than just carrying the money, they can put the money together to float businesses together. People have shares in it. They have annual general meeting. They vote in or employ. They vote in their chairman to serve tenures. They can actually employ people, business consultants to also manage their businesses, and so on and so forth. They register it, and it becomes like a business entity on its own, but of course, with people of like minds and all that. In a country and a place where people like to do me, myself, and mine, this may be a veritable way of having like minds, pulling resources together to be able to achieve greater things. Of course, you have your constitutions, you have your terms of agreement, your memorandum of agreement, of understanding, and so on and so forth to be able to get this done. And of course, um, you have your legal arrangements, and so on and so forth. So these are some of the ways in which fathers can be men of means. Sometimes it's neighborhood association. Almost all over the place, everybody has WhatsApp group for people in the same community. They share ideas. They talk about security. They talk about investment. They talk about economic issues, NEPA, you listen about power holding, Company of Nigeria, and their tariffs. They discuss a wide range of things. This is a way of also providing support for themselves. It could be cooperatives, book clubs, and so on and so forth. So these are some of the ways in which fathers, can be men of means. All right, so in the last few minutes, I've been discussing about fathers being men of means in commemoration of the Father's Day that is coming up on the 16th of June, Sunday 16th of June. And I always say that mothers, we have sometimes married Mother's Days for fathers, are usually celebrated only once in a year. However, you as a father, you can celebrate yourself all the time. As children, you can celebrate your fathers all the time, and so on and so forth. But the focus of today is to say fathers must be men of means. Fathers must be men of means who have the system to train their children, to support their spouses and train their children in the way of the Lord, and to be responsible members of the family, of the family of society, and to be people who can dream, who believe who believe in the future being brighter, who are responsible, who are accountable, who believe in possibilities. Having that system is one of the means that fathers need. And then, of course, I've also talked about the resources, monetary wealth, to be able to cater for the family, to protect, to provide, and to be the shoulder that others can cry on. So these are some of the ways in which fathers can be men of me. So you are a father out there. I want you to put this into practice so that you can be a father to reckon with. You bond with your children in your old age. Your children will still be there looking for you, bonding with you, and so on and so forth. Remember that fatherhood is not just biological. It's not just for you to sleep with a woman, impregnate a woman, and have children. No, fatherhood is responsibility. It is identity. You provide identity for your children. You provide vision for your children. You are the chief executive officer. You are the chairman of your family PLC. You are the one that provides direction. You also help your children to find purpose. You help them to be able to live in their purpose and then to be able to be resilient members of the society. So, if you are a spouse, a woman married to a father, a woman married to a husband who is a father, you will also be an helpmate to make sure that this God given position is well utilized. If you are children, you must make sure that you obey your fathers in the Lord because this is the will of God. And then, fathers, you must make sure that you don't provoke your children onto anger. And so, this is where I'm going to be anchoring the discussion. Remember, you can reach out to us to be able to help you in any of these two means that we have talked about. You can also reach out to us for your mental health needs, for your physical health needs, and so on and so forth. We can help you to build a life plan. We can help you to build a financial plan. We can help you to build a health plan. We can help you to change your limiting beliefs. We can give you therapy, psychotherapy, financial therapy, and so on and so forth. So this is where I'm going to be anchoring it. This is where I'm going to be ending it. So, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Network Media 980. That's our YouTube channel. And of course, you can also subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, Kingsley Okonoda. You can also subscribe to our Facebook page, Network Consult, or to my personal Facebook page, Kingsley Maiwa Okonoda. You can boss us if you want to be added to our WhatsApp group, our community where we share ideas and so on and so forth. But you can also join that community on Facebook, Network community on Facebook, and be part of it. We have a number of programs that will be rolling out that can help you in the course of your career. Some of them, of your life, some of them will be free and some of them will be paid for. Remember that you must pay a price for your success. Thank you very much. These are the much I can take. I don't know if there's anybody in the comment section or if you have any question or interaction that you want to have with us. Like Mike Montai said, we have learned so much today. God bless you. All right. If you have any question, I'm sure that if you put it in the chat, I'll be able to see it and be able to respond to you. And you can still leave your questions with us. Mary, it was a very enlightening session. Thank you very much, Mary. Um, all right, so this is where we're going to be anchoring it. Until we come your way, same time, same channel on another Friday evening. Make sure that you celebrate your father. If you are very blessed and lucky to see have your father alive, go and visit them, buy them gifts, give them the gift of your presence and your time. I don't have that luxury anymore. So if you still have that luxury, maximize it and celebrate it. All right, thank you, and God bless you.